Hey everyone, welcome to Inspire Middle East. I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton, and this week we're focusing on the role of sustainable energy in working towards a cleaner global future. We'll speak to the European Union's Energy Commissioner about the bloc's energy needs in the near and the long term, plus where supply is coming from.
Different routes, different suppliers. This is part of our policy to achieve energy security.
A little bit later on, we'll look at the environmental problem of food waste, not only what it's costing the global economy, but initiatives here in the UAE involving small children to tackle a big problem. But first, CEOs, policymakers and innovators gathered in Abu Dhabi to discuss global energy consumption and the latest trends in sustainable development. And Inspire was on the ground to find out more. Since it was established in 2008, Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week has looked to accelerate domestic and global sustainable development. At the opening of the event, the UAE's Minister of State highlighted the country's investments in energy projects and its projections for the years ahead.
Within the UAE, we have grown our renewable energy portfolio by over 400% in the last 10 years. And we are well on track to double it again in the next 10.
The CEO of Abu Dhabi National Oil Company went on to explain the ways in which the UAE was complementing its clean energy portfolio.
This year, in 2020, we will become the first country in the region to deliver safe, commercial, and peaceful nuclear power.
Under the umbrella of Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, the International Renewable Energy Agency, or IRENA, convened, as did the Assembly of the Atlantic Council Global Energy Forum, where the executive director of the IEA, or International Energy Agency, said that as industries and governments struggle to tackle climate change, the gap between perceptions and the reality of the problem was widening. To discuss the challenges that policymakers are facing today as they grapple with climate change and geopolitical pressures, Inspire spoke to the Energy Commissioner of the European Union. Commissioner, a very warm welcome to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you're not just here to attend summits on the ground in Abu Dhabi. Can I also presume that you're here to sign deals, partnerships? And if so, what has been discussed?
That's very correct. Well, we are looking for partners because European Union has adopted a very ambitious climate agenda, but we don't make a big difference if we achieve what we have promised alone, because right now, European Union's greenhouse gas emissions, they are only 9% of the global emissions. So we need supporters, we need partners.
Let me pick up on that, because in terms of CO2 emissions, they were at record highs last year, and yet we have increasingly more summits relating to climate change. So the head of the IEA is saying that there's a great disparity between the perception and reality of the problem of climate change. Would you agree with that, and how can we fix it?
We can lead by example. And in European Union, we have decided that each and every member state will implement a national energy and climate plan. So right now we know that we have concrete plans how to achieve what we have promised by 2030. And that means that if we do everything that is already agreed, we will decrease our greenhouse gas emissions by 45%.
Turkey and Russia have launched the Turk Stream pipeline, carrying Russian natural gas to Europe via Turkey. Talk to me about the significance of this deal.
Well, European Union is biggest natural gas importer. And for us, it is very important that we will have diverse routes. We want that each and every member state will have different providers. So for every new pipeline and old pipeline too that comes from third country, there is a rule that it has to be compatible to our regulations, to our standards. That means unbundling, fair tariffs, and it has to be open to third parties.
Can I push you to respond about what this means for diplomatic relations between Moscow and Kiev, which have publicly deteriorated since 2014? This deal will reduce the amount of shipments by Moscow via Ukraine. So where do we go from here diplomatically?
Last year, we were just hosting trilateral talks between Russia and Ukraine, and it is very welcome that they reached agreement, and there is a new agreement for next 5 years.
What do you make of the US wanting to potentially impose sanctions on the Turk Stream deal in a bid to deter, as they say, Russian aggression?
We hope to have a good cooperation with United States so that all those actions that are lawful will be also accepted.
There's also, of course, the East Med pipeline deal for Europe. Turkey is not happy about this deal. They say that a pipeline which is suitable already exists. This is the Trans-Anatolian pipeline. Are they right?
We want to have diverse routes, and in addition to the pipelines, we also see the role of LNG. So different routes, different suppliers, this is part of our policy to achieve energy security.
Now, we sit here in Abu Dhabi, not too far from the Strait of Hormuz. Can I ask for your take on US-Iranian tensions and how you see energy security going forward regarding the Strait, such an important conduit, a choke point for energy being sent to the rest of the world?
Coming from the European Union, we do believe that diplomacy is a powerful tool, and we are always open for diplomatic negotiations, and that is also what we will do in the future.
Commissioner, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whilst commissioners and heads of state held high-level meetings at Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, energy innovators of tomorrow were being honoured for their green credentials. 10 winners from SMEs to high schools and non-profit organisations were the recipients of the $3 million Zayed Sustainability Prize. Recognised for having a positive energy-related impact was Electricians Without Borders. The French company, which operates in around 38 countries, provides water and electricity to underprivileged communities, including refugee camps. The president told Euronews about his ambitions for the project going forward.
The project, since it began, has impacted around 50,000 people. And there are still a number of people in refugee camps, nearly 1 million people. There are many, many things we could do for them.
With the 12th edition of the prize wrapped up, organisers are already looking ahead to next year's winners, who will not only be energy innovators, but also, it's hoped, be sustainable pioneers in the fields of water, health and food. Every single year, roughly 1/3 of all the food produced for human consumption globally is lost or wasted, according to the United Nations. Salima Saeed has more on the situation right here in the UAE, in particular the actions being taken to remedy the problem at grassroots level.
What is it? It is an apple, but is it rotten? Is it not good to eat?
Getting their hands dirty to save the planet. These nursery children in Dubai are learning the importance of recycling the leftover food they eat, using green waste like apples and onions and brown materials like leaves and twigs to make compost, which after about 45 days these little ones learn can be reused to nourish more food to eat.
Compost makes soil, and soil makes plants grow.
With hands-on learning, the nursery children are feeding me the information they learned today about why they recycle, which is important for them to understand, says the Kids World Nursery's founder.
Then the second thing, we tell them that if we don't do these things, we show them small videos on what's going to happen if the world becomes more hotter, how the animals are going to have problems.
The statistics are alarming, with more than 1/3 of the world's food, amounting to around 1 billion tons, having been wasted yearly since 2011, according to the UN. In landfills, wasted food produces nearly 10% of the world's greenhouse gases, affecting global warming. The World Wildlife Fund attributes food waste as the main contributor to deforestation and the loss of water sources worldwide. A precautionary tale for these youngsters about what happens when you're wasteful. The food habits these nursery children are learning are ones adults should be practicing today to preserve the planet for future generations. Some technology innovators believe it's never too late, and they're encouraging hotels and restaurants, which produce some of the largest food waste in the world, to think outside the box. Gulf Arab countries are some of the biggest food wasters according to environmental service provider Dubai Carbon, with the UAE among the top waste generators in the world, throwing away an estimated 2.7 kilograms of food per person daily, more than double the rate of Europe. The UAE is taking action and looking to technology companies like London-based startup Winnow Solutions for innovative answers, such as using artificial intelligence to scan and identify excess waste, helping F&B establishments save up to 70% of food waste in the first year, given that food waste costs the Emirates about $3.5 billion a year. A main contributor to the region's food loss comes from large buffet operations and the culture of hospitality, says Winnow Solutions Middle East and North Africa director.
The reality is that in this region, culturally speaking, they want their guests to always have enough, but that doesn't mean that they want to produce too much.
Winnows identifies that most food wasted globally is thrown out before reaching people's plates. And the UAE is taking this seriously. In 2018, it saved over 1 million meals and is pledging to slash food waste countrywide by 50% by 2030.
Well, that is a wrap of our show. We hope that you enjoyed it, and do be sure to follow us on social media and catch all of our programs online at Euronews.com. Before I say goodbye, here are some energised Instagram posts that we especially liked this week. I'll see you next time. Maria from Russia visited the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park in the UAE, the largest single-site solar park in the world. And the REAM program in Bahrain wishes to inspire little environmental leaders, sharing this post of a tree planting workshop for children.